Hello everyone, this is going to be a Dark Knights up to level 40 guide. This is Shadowbringers 5.2. For the glamour set, we have the Rabble Keeper's Guillotine, the Posny for the head, Strife Vest, Punching Gloves, Strife Bags, and the Spring Shoes. Links for both gear and accessories can be found in the description box below. Welcome to a Shadowbringers Skill Spotlight. At level 35, we get Blood Weapon, restores MP upon landing weapon skills or spells. Note, effect does not stack when hitting multiple targets with a single attack, a duration of 10 seconds. It is instant cast with a 60-second off global. At level 38, we get Shadow Wall, reduces damage taken by 30%, duration of 15 seconds. It is instant cast with 120-second off global. At level 40, we get Edge of Darkness, deals magic damage with a potency of 350. Additional effect grants Dark Side, increasing damage dealt by 10%, just like the Flood of Darkness. It has the same effect. It is instant cast with a ability recast of 2 seconds and a mana cost of 3,000. It is pretty much the same as a Flood of Darkness. You're going to use the Edge of Darkness on a single target, while the Flood of Darkness is 2 or more. So up next is Shadow Wall. Shadow Wall has a higher priority on the mitigation priority list. What that means is it has higher priority of something like Rampart. As you can see, between the two, Rampart gives you 20% damage reduction, while Shadow Wall gives you 30. If you're pulling something big, like a big mob group, you want to use Shadow Wall first so you can, take the minimal amount of damage, and then as you run out of your Shadow Wall, you would then toss your Rampart. Once you start to kill the enemies off, then the 20% seems more viable. Of course, toss, grab aggro, toss your Shadow Wall. Especially if you're fighting a boss, you definitely want to have a mitigation tool on you 24/7. For all other inquiries and all other combinations and such, you can look up my role skills guide to tank. I think I should have released a video of that. It's a pretty quick, less than 5-minute video that you can look up. I will post the link in the description, and also you should be able to see a time card on the top right corner. So we're going to start off with Blood Weapon. It is used along with weapon skills and also spells. Spells being something like Unmend or Unleash, and of course weapon skills is your bread and butter, Hard Slash, Siphon Strike, and Soul Eater. So the first way of using the Blood Weapon, we're going to use a spell or weapon skill, and right before the global cooldown comes back up again, we're going to use the Blood Weapon before reinitiating with the weapon skill or spell. So let's use the Unmend here. Blood Weapon, as the global cooldown comes back up, we're going to use 1 weapon skill, 2 for spell, 3 for weapon skill, 4 for spell, and 5 for weapon skill. So yes, ideally you want to get 5 of weapon skills or spells, conjunction, it doesn't matter. Just make sure you get 5. You want to squeeze them in there so you can get the optimal amount of mana recovery. And the second way, which is basically if you have good ping or you're pretty fast at reacting at this sort of stuff, is to basically toss it as a priority off global. When I say priority off global, I mean second in line or a more important off global. A good example is basically much like before, we're going to use a weapon skill or a spell, and then we're going to use 2 off globals between them. Typically melee and tanks have enough time between their weapon skills or spells so they can use 2 off globals. I don't really care about my mana, I'm just trying to give you an example. We're going to use Unmends, and then we're going to do something like, since it could be like a boss, we're going to do Rampart into Blood Weapon. That being Blood Weapon is the priority target. Just like before, we're going to maximize the amount of weapon skills or spells that we do, so we gain the maximum amount of mana back. Now, I got stunned there for a second. It gave me a total of 3k mana that I could have gotten with it. Finally, we come to Edge of Darkness. I had to wait till my mana refilled there for me to show you guys an example. So Edge of Darkness is pretty much the same as Flood of Darkness, but we're going to use it on a single target. So typically up against boss fights, or when you're down to a single target and it's, just a regular mob that you're fighting and it's still pretty beefy, we're going to use the Edge of Darkness on it instead. The idea is to burn your mana and to also enable Dark Side so you gain 10% damage. Ideally, you want to burn your mana. Everything else comes along with it. everyone. This is going to be a Dark Knight up to level 40 guide. This is a dungeon example. And we are running, before I forget, the Stone Vigil. There's typically only 2 dungeons that I can do up to level 40. I don't want to go too far up or too far down in the level requirement. So first off, let's toss on our grits. We're going to grab aggro. Burn a little bit more mana. Toss the blood weapon. It's 3 targets. I don't need mitigation for this sort of stuff. Down to 2 targets, so single target. Your bread and butter. We're going to pull big, or at least bigger now. So we're going to pop. Maybe I'll keep sprint. I don't want to freak out the healer. So we're going to pull big. As you can see, there's pretty much standard. We need to use provoke for the second target there. We use arm's length here, along with Shadow Wall. So we should be fine. There we go. So we're going to watch the timer on both of those, and we're going to watch our mana. So Rampart into Reprisal. Again, if you need an idea as to what I'm doing, I released a video on the tank's roll skill. I have my blood weapon, so let me go ahead and use that. That's 2, 3, 4, and 5. I think I missed the 5th one, but it was pretty close. Obviously, the blood weapon is kind of rough to use along with 2 off globals, but just go ahead and use it as your ping sees fits. I don't want to pull any more than 4 because I don't have mitigation tools. I mean, I have low blow, but it doesn't really give me too much to work with. So we're down to 2 targets. We're going to use the bread and butter, single target, but we still have 2 targets, so we will use the Flood of Darkness. I have 2 seconds left on that reprisal. Provoke. Reprisal. I'm going to do our Unleash. Down to 3 targets. We're going to wait for the global cooldown. Blood weapon. Burn my mana. I'm going to use a potion just for the example. 2 targets. Burn my mana. 1 target. There you go. Just make sure you maintain dark side. Everything else is pretty much standard. Just done this one. Still 2 targets, so Flood. Now it's a single target, so Edge. There you go. And boss fight. Gonna wait for everybody to hop in the arena. I have my provoke. So immediate into the boss fight, let me put my mitigation tools. Don't forget about those. We're going to put on blood weapon into a spell or weapon skill. Lion's Breath. We have mitigation. And we're just going to burn our mana as we get it. Get out of that. Avoid mechanics. I think this guy is immune to stun. I've done that too many times. But I'll use it anyways. So we've run out of mitigation, so we're going to pop a Rampart. After Rampart, we'll use Reprisal. We're just waiting for my mana to recover. And then immediately use Edge of Darkness. Should be fine here. Minimize movement as a tank. Especially if you have something like a monk. And global cooldown is back up. And that's good stuff. Hello world, and thanks for watching. Don't forget to smash the like and subscribe here. You can also donate if interested in supporting the channel. More content to watch on the right side. If interested in joining in the Tempest Talons, info in the top left. And as always, good luck to you, and we'll see you next time.